Places, you know what time it is. It's the King Ducky Show. Quack a lot of the game like you don't give a fuck. Come on. I can't hear you quacking, y'all. Come on, quack. 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 Quack.
Hey, out of placers. What is up? It is another month and another episode of the King Ducky Show. How is everyone doing today? I know I say this every time, but are we sleeping right? Are we eating right? Is everything going good on y'all's end? Is the money making sense? Is life making sense? Are we doing good? Y'all need someone to talk to? Y'all need a hug? Trust me, I love a hug as much as anybody else, but sometimes, you need that nice little, like a hug that's like from the heart, Because, you can hug your bros or your girlfriends whenever you meet up with them after like a couple months of not seeing them. That hug when you just need it and there's like no intention behind it. No, oh, we're going to do something later. It's just a hug. And it could be from some random dude on the side of the street. That's something that kind of hug is something else. That's something I've needed for a minute. I need that kind of hug. So today I got told by a couple of my friends to go outside, and it's about 10:30 right now. And I went outside and they're like, go look at the sky. You could see Jupiter. I was like, no way. So I went outside. I love space. I love space. And so I went outside and I took a look at the sky and lo and behold, it's right there. Bright as day. Cool as hell. I don't know why. It happens every year. People see stuff like that. There's eclipses, which that was kind of cool. I was driving to the airport on the night of the eclipse, and boy, let me tell you, that drive was a trip. Out here where I live in the middle of the nowhere, absolutely stunning. There's zero light pollution out here. But in other words, I read on Twitter today that NASA has crashed a spacecraft into an asteroid. Why? I don't know. I didn't read anything but the title. I was looking for stuff to talk about on the podcast, and I saw NASA smashed a spacecraft into an asteroid. The title made it sound like it was intentional. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was. I don't know. I don't really care. It's just that it's funny to me. Be like, did we do it on purpose? Is NASA playing a life-size version of the game Asteroids because they're bored? What's going on? I have no idea. This funny world we live in. So I work at a hospital, right? I'm not going to release any information, but there was this patient. She came in and she was on drugs, and the EMT, he brought her in and he was like, oh, she tripping. I was like, bro. And then he started being like, yeah, she wilding out today, bro. Get her some Narcan. And I'm like, okay, I get getting her some Narcan. That's what she should have said, is be like, she's overdosing, stuff like that. But you didn't have to go in and bring her in while she's sitting there right in front of you. You're literally dragging her to a room. And he's sitting there talking shit about the patient right in front of her. I'm like, bro, could be a little bit nicer. She is technically dying right in front of you until you give her Narcan, and that should be fine. But still, like, what the fuck? People are assholes these days. Like, a little bit of compassion would make the world go round, Just a smile. That's something I want to challenge everybody who listens to this podcast this month to do. The next like 5 people you see, you don't have to say a word to them. You don't have to be like, hey, let's be friends or some shit like that. Like some of these like happy-go-lucky, feel-good words that you hear on the internet and on the radio sometimes. Be like, oh, talk to like 5 people. Nah, you don't even got to talk to people. I'm not going to demand you to do that because I don't want to do that. I don't want to talk to 5 random people unless it's on stream, but that's a different story. But just smile at somebody. Give them a nice little nod. Give them a little cheeky side smile. Just let them know you're there. Sometimes a smile goes a long way. I remember reading a story once about this dude who literally walked like 3 miles. And he literally said before he left his house, he was like, after I finish this walk, if not a single person smiles at me, I'm jumping. And lo and behold, no one smiled at him. And he jumped, but he lived. He's still alive. And now he has to deal with that regret for the rest of his life. I've been seeing a lot of this on TikTok about like 3D printed houses. I wonder how much that cost, because I've been trying to get my own place because I have a decent paying job and it's going to last me a while. I'm not going to lose that job because as IT, my job is kind of always going to be here forever. But I want to get my own place. I wonder how much like having your own place like 3D printed would cost. That's gotta be expensive as hell, because like, or it might not, because nobody even has to put in any labor. You just have to set up the machines, and once like what, 4 hours of setting up machines, and then boom, they set it up to go, and 24 hours later, boom, you have the outside frame of a house built. How crazy is that? And it does like inside walls and different floor plans and stuff like that. That's trippy to me. Like, they can literally lay concrete out and have a house built with a 3D printer. Literally, my dad, he builds houses for a living, breaks his back, breaks his hands, and now he probably doesn't even have to do that within the next like 6 years once that becomes a popular thing. Housing is going to get cheap, I hope. Who knows? I kind of hope it gets cheap. Housing is expensive. It's like half a paycheck. It's not cool. I was listening to a tech podcast at work today because I was a little bored. Did you guys know that people like Microsoft and Apple and Amazon, they're trying to upgrade artificial intelligence to where they'll be like more personal to the single user. So say everybody buys an iPhone and they all have like default Siri. What they're trying to do is the more that you use Siri, the more that you talk to Siri, and the more that you hang out and ask Siri for stuff, her personality adapts to yours, and it becomes a more like unique artificial intelligence that you can actually have a conversation with. Not like here, Alexa, or wait, I changed her name. Computer, what time is it?
It's 10:46 p.m. Have a good night.
You too. See, like that, but it'd be like, and you have a great night or something like that. It would go into something more deeper, more personal, more in depth with you. And you could show it off to your friends and be like, hey, my Siri does this. My Alexa does this. All sorts of stuff. And it's crazy how far technology has come. Everybody was like, oh, the 3 rules of robotics and artificial intelligence are going to take over the world. As once they start talking to each other, we got problems. No, we don't. Freaking Facebook and Instagram's artificial intelligence. I think it's just intelligence. They keep creating their own language and talking to each other. Like they keep creating their own like binary language and keep having conversations. And the people who run those AI keep trying to stop them. They stop them for a good minute, and they make a new language. And it's nothing harmful. They're not talking about taking over the world yet, but they're just having a nice little chit chat. And I think that's cool. I think that's awesome. Like, that's insane. How crazy is that? The technology is talking to itself now. Back in the day, we could barely even get a computer to boot up. Technology has come such a long way in such a short amount of time. I can't wait to see where it goes by the time. Like 10, 20 years, where we'll be. Who knows? Anyway, that's my time, everybody. I hope all of you have a great rest of your day. And George, man, that beard you're growing just looks fantastic. Like Viking vibes from you, man. Keep it up.